Y'all didn't check to see if the engine was working before you got us on here? That's a big problem. I instantly thought of like Final Destination. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I'm Yosha, and I'm your go-to girl for all things real. If you're new here, I cover real talk, lifestyle, and reviews, and I do love to travel. So if you are into that sort of content, you definitely want to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And when you're done watching this video, check out my Travel with Yosha playlist. It has airline reviews. It has international travel vlogs. It has weekend trips on it. You're gonna find something that you like. I'm gonna tell y'all why this was the worst experience ever. I'm not only gonna tell y'all what went wrong, but I'm also gonna tell you how I went about getting a resolution, and of course post updates, because some of it is still not worked out, because this literally just happened this past weekend. There was a lack of communication, there was a lackluster apology, and there was no compensation offered automatically. This past weekend I went on a trip from Atlanta to the BWI airport, which is in Baltimore, Maryland. That is an option for you if you want to visit the DC area. And so we took it because the flight, of course, was affordable. We initially booked the flight a few months ahead, and they gave us a timing of around 3-ish and landing in the Maryland area right or 5 o'clock. Now, a month or so after booking, Delta automatically shifted our flight time to the 2:27-ish time frame. We got an email and it was fine. I arrived to the airport a little under 2 hours early, and the TSA line for Delta was very long. It was very long, it was winding, it was so many people there. I will say, I've flown with Frontier, and honey, I stood in that line longer with Frontier than I did with Delta, and I would say the length of people and the, you know, the amount of people that were there was about the same. So I will give them kudos on how fast I was able to get through TSA. Once I made it through TSA, boarding was going to begin in about 20 minutes. I had an 8-cent breakfast. It's almost 2 o'clock. I wanted to go ahead and grab food, so I went over and grabbed something really quick. It was Chick-fil-A, and then I made it over to where we board. When we are getting ready to board the plane, because they're saying the flight is full, they require us to check our bags. Now with Delta, everybody gets a free personal bag and everybody gets a free carry-on bag. If the flight is full, they will force you to check your bag, but they don't charge you for it, because that is them telling you, hey, we don't have any more space. Now, me personally, when I'm doing a little weekend trip, I do not usually check a bag. I just don't like it. There's always that fear of someone's gonna lose my stuff and I'm gonna be in the middle of another state, another country, or wherever with no clothes. I just don't like it. So I was not happy about having to check the bag. Now, when we get on the plane and things go as normal, I sit in my seat. I'm in the main cabin area, in the back, in the middle seat, and I'm just ready to take off. After a few minutes, the flight attendant is handing out headphones. Now, at one point during the pandemic, they were charging $3 for these headphones, but now they're not anymore, I guess. So the person was passing those out for free. I took a pair, I used them, I turned on an episode of The Office, and I was just laughing away, enjoying myself, ready to take off. Now, right before that episode of The Office began, the pilot came on and said, we're experiencing a little issue up here with one of our restrooms. We should be able to resolve it in 5 to 10 minutes. I'm distracted about how much time is passing because I'm watching the entertainment. And that's one thing that I will say that helped to make this situation a little bit better, because we had entertainment. So I wasn't hearing the babies crying. I wasn't hearing the noise from other people, because I'm sitting here watching The Office and I'm not even paying attention. When the episode ends, I noticed that the plane has still not moved. Now, of course, I start the next episode and we get a service interruption from the pilot. The pilot apologizes and says, we're about to get ready to prepare for takeoff. So everyone's like, okay, cool. Finally, we're a little late. No problem. We're about to finally get to where we're going. So the plane begins to move, and the safety video comes on the screen, and you hear them talking about make sure that you have your seatbelt fastened and everything stowed away and blah, 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 you know, the safety stuff. You put your mask on yourself and before you help somebody else. The things that you normally hear on any plane before you take off, right? So Usually that process takes about 10, maybe 12 minutes, depending on how many planes are in front of the plane that you're on. So about 20 minutes passes and we haven't taken off yet. I'm just watching The Office. We get another service interruption from the entertainment, from the pilot. And the pilot comes on and says, I just realized there's an issue with the engine. And we're trying to figure out how long it would take to get service for the engine issue. Please hang tight. So at this point, it has been over an hour now that we have been on this plane. Y'all didn't check this damn plane before. I'm freaking out, okay? I instantly thought of like Final Destination. It took me years to get over the anxiety of flying on a plane. And now you're telling me that y'all didn't check to see if the engine was working before you got us on here? And we've been on this plane for 45 minutes for the bathroom issue. Y'all didn't think to check everything else? That's a problem. At this point, I'm like, no, I want to get off of here. People are upset. There are babies crying. At this point, we should have already been there by now. At this point, we are over an hour late. Exactly. Hey, can I do Fred? This is crazy. I've never experienced anything like this before, especially not with Delta. Now, at this point, I'm just ready to go home because I don't feel comfortable. At that time, it did not sound like they were going to try to get us another plane, which it didn't make sense because it's Delta and it's Atlanta Airport is one of the biggest airports. Why we can't just get a different plane? Why are y'all still trying to get us on this one that's raggedy? Everything's broken on it. Let's get us a different plane. So it takes about 45 minutes to an hour for us to get off. Mind you, they have checked everybody's luggage. So if I wanted to take my luggage and go home, I can't because it's somewhere underneath the plane in one of them little cart thingies. One of the employees tells us, you're actually not going to take off from A29. We want you to go to A17. So me, the friends that I'm with, and some other folks, we start walking towards A17. Now, apparently, some people that were in the front of the plane, because we were in the back, because we were the basic seats, were already on their way to A17, made it to A17, and were told that we had to go to A1 now. So now that's 3 gates y'all done sent us to. They're not in the same vicinity. You walking across the Atlanta airport, and it's just super frustrating. So we finally get to A1, and this indeed ends up being the gate that we take off from, the new plane that we're gonna be on. They do the boarding process all over again. At this point, it's almost 6 o'clock. We get on the plane. We're not in the same seats that we were on. You have everybody that was on the plane that we were on initially with the broken engine, plus the people that were on this flight, that were actually scheduled for this flight. And they close the doors and they get ready to do like the safety stuff. But then the pilot comes on, and it's the same pilot that was going to drive us before, and says, we have some extra time, so we're going to actually let a few extra passengers on. And everybody is like, are you serious? We are 3 hours late at this point, and you're going to let some additional people get on this plane? You've got to be kidding me, right? Mind you, we are still sitting there because all of our luggage was on the broken plane. So I'm literally in a window seat now, and I'm looking at them put the bags from the other plane onto this plane. So I guess the pilot is like, since we have time, we're gonna let extra people on. There was room on the initial plane when I got on, and on the row that I was in, there was room for my carry-on bag. Let's start there. This couple gets on, they have carry-on bags. Didn't make them check their stuff, but we had to check our stuff. The man that's with this wife, he's gonna try to come and sit in between me and my friend. And at this point, I had to say something like, no, I'm not scooting over. You're not sitting right here. There are seats in the back. Long story short, the flight attendant that was nearby helped them find something in the back. Finally, they got all the bags on. The safety video ends. We take off. We make it to Maryland. We land, it's about 8 o'clock. Now, mind you, we were supposed to get there before 4. We are now 4 hours late to what we had planned. So the whole first evening is just shot. Dinner reservations, couldn't make them. Had to end up eating what was open. So we ended up going to this mall. Now, fast forward to Saturday. I get the check-in reminder around 7 o'clock because I'm flying out to go back home around 7 o'clock the next day. I check in, and Delta has this screen pop up saying that they have oversold their flight. Now, this ain't how they worded it, but this is what you get, this alert when folks oversell the flight and they trying to figure out where the hell people are gonna fit because y'all have oversold the flight. Offering me up to $500 to give my seat up. At this point, I am pissed. I don't have no trust, no faith in Delta for this particular experience. I'm like, no thanks. I understand if like I didn't have to work tomorrow, if I didn't have a child that was sick at home that I need to get back to because my husband was holding down the fort because we had already planned this trip in advance and he didn't want me to miss it. But no, I don't want to miss my flight. If anything, I want to be compensated for what happened. Not compensated because you want to take my seat from me and I hope I can get on the next one. Like, no. I get to the airport with my friends. Mind you, I got a request to give my seat up. My friends, they were put on standby. So like when you check in and you're supposed to get your seat, they said they were on the standby list. Sunday we get there, they do get their seats. They don't end up having to get bumped or anything like that. But again, they oversold the flight. So guess what? They forced us to check our bags. We get on, the pilot is like, you know, we have some tight connections in Atlanta, so we're trying to leave on time. Please bear with us, blah, 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 blah. And we end up leaving a few minutes late. We take off and they said it was turbulence. I didn't feel the turbulence. Maybe the pilot was awesome. So imagine you're on a plane, you're thirsty, you're tired, no snacks provided, but you paid for this because this is Delta. It's included for free, but trust me, with them prices, you paid for it. You don't get any refreshments. You finally get there. You get home. You get the baggage claim. And they've scuffed my damn carry-on bag. So now I'm pissed. When I got off the plane Friday, they did apologize. It was a very lackluster apology. But they did include that the pilot actually did overtime for us to make sure that we were able to make it to our destination. So I do appreciate that. But I want to be compensated. So to get compensated, I had to go on the Delta website and submit a claim. I wrote a whole novel about what happened. I'm very thorough. Look, I went to college for communications. Writing is what I do. So I write a whole book explaining what I just explained to y'all. I get an email and it says that it will take 30 days. But I ended up finding out when I called, because I'm not waiting 30 days, that it actually could be up to 45 days for resolution. And I'm just like, you know, that is crazy to me, because when you inconvenience a whole flight of people, my thought is, if y'all are supposed to be the best in class, that y'all would automatically think to offer an automatic credit, some sort of courtesy, some sort of something, because you've delayed people by 4 hours. If you had people on that flight that had a connecting flight, 9 times out of 10 they've missed their flight because of this foolishness. I don't really know the direct number for customer care. It was not provided in the email for my case because they don't want you calling. The hold times are long, y'all. Like, I'm talking an hour, 50 minutes. It's not quick. But the regular line for people who are not in customer care, you might be able to get in within like 10 to 30 minutes. I waited on hold for about 30 minutes, got online with an agent. The agent was like, you know, the best thing you need to do is submit a case. I said, I already did a case, but I'm not waiting 30 days. She said, oh, okay, that's great. You know, tell me what happened. I told her. She was like cracking up on the phone. Like, oh my gosh, you're definitely going to get compensated for this. I can't believe you had that happen. And she was like, I'm going to get you over to customer care. I said, no problem. Thank you. She transfers me to customer care. I wait for over 40 more minutes. Total call time, 1 hour and 22 seconds to get hung up on. At least they have a customer service. With Frontier, you can't even call nobody. But with Delta, they are so overwhelmed that you literally may be waiting for 2 months to get something done. And I'm not. I'm not waiting. Y'all didn't wait 2 months to charge me to get on this flight. Y'all charged me the same day. And the flight was non-refundable. Y'all made that pretty clear. So for me, when y'all do something that inconveniences, I want my compensation right away. At 6 o'clock, you know, when I'm hung up on, they are closed. So when I try to call back, they are telling me that they're not accepting calls at this time. So now I have wasted a 4-hour delay plus another hour and 22 minutes of my time with this issue. So now I have to call back the next day. Now, when I call back the next day, I call earlier, like closer to lunchtime. And I get through, I speak to an agent. She's not customer care. She was awesome. I explained everything. She offered me a flight credit. Initially, she tried to offer me $100 or 10,000 miles. I asked her, so what's the difference? The 10,000 miles could help discount a future flight and they don't expire. The $100 would expire a year from the day that it was issued. I wanted money. I still want to be refunded because that was horrible. At my point, y'all damaged my luggage. You delayed me by 4 hours. You wasted my time. And y'all didn't even offer an apology or a automatic compensation. So I'm still having to follow up with this. And $100 was not the cost of my ticket. Now, the cost of my ticket was around $156. So I was like, well, can we do the flight credit for the amount of my ticket? The agent, again, she's not customer care, was able to give me $150. So now I'm like, okay, so I had that experience. It cost me $6. Now, I told her I don't want my case closed because I still want to be compensated for my luggage. I still want to be compensated for my time. I still want my refund. So I felt good knowing that I at least got that $150 flight credit. Overall, I would rate that experience a 3 out of 10. Comment down below, let me know if you like flying with Delta, if you've ever had a crazy experience with them or just at all. If you have any questions for me, I'll be sure to answer them. I do respond to my viewers. Thank you so much for watching today's video and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye.